How do you protect yourself as somebody who is neurodivergent against mistreatment or abuse? Well, the number one way is to remember that green light does not necessarily mean go. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. That is, if somebody is overly kind, generous, and giving in your first encounter, and you barely know them, it's probably an indication that they're love bombing you. Not always, but a lot of the times it is. People who love bomb have ulterior motives. They're trying to pull you into their orbit and under their influence. And those of us who've struggled to find friends and people who are open and giving and authentic on first meeting and connect with us will gravitate towards that. I know I certainly have as an autistic ADHDer because it felt like home. It felt like this false sense of security and closeness and intimacy and safeness, all the things that I've craved throughout my life as somebody who's been marginalized. And I went towards it like a moth to the flame. Inevitably, I got burnt. Until I started to learn that, at first blush, somebody might seem really nice, but you have to wait till the layers come off, and then you get to see over time, and it takes time, and a lot of different challenging situations like interpersonal conflict or needing to set boundaries or assert yourself or speak to your needs. These kinds of experiences, they tend to reveal somebody's true nature, depending on how they respond to it. And you have to be able and willing to look at what evidence they're presenting and to engage with that evidence. Don't try to dismiss it. Don't try to, explain it away and give them a plausible deniability by, excusing it as just a human thing if they have an outburst or they treat you in an abusive or neglectful way, and then they kind of make an excuse and they don't address your emotional reality and hold space for that and treat you with empathy and kindness. That's when you go, this person is probably manipulating me. Not always. They might be very low in terms of empathy or an emotional intelligence, and that doesn't necessarily mean they're manipulating you, but it probably means that they're not the right person for you. That the safety that you think you can get from this relationship probably doesn't exist. You've probably invented it, and the evidence is pointing towards this person isn't necessarily somebody you can count on or trust or invest your faith in. Our yearning for closeness, our need to be seen, heard, understood, held, is often our downfall as neurodivergents. Because we want it so desperately, we're willing to overlook the warning signs, like the love bombing, like the act slipping over time when you start to see other facets of that person that you want to excuse and explain away because you're like, oh no, the first impression was that they're nice and I want to believe this vision of them that I have and I'm not willing to conceive that they could be this kind of person. That is the thing that stops you from recognizing mistreatment and abusive relationships until too late, until you're well into it, you're invested in the relationship, and there's been a pattern of that behavior that you've excused or explained away. And that person will aid and abet you in excusing and explaining away by providing rationalizations and justifications and blame shifting, and they'll darver you, they'll deny that they've done harm and imply that you were the one who did them the harm. They'll do all kinds of tactics like that and gaslighting to keep you second-guessing yourself. They play on your own insecurities and your own lack of self-belief and low self-worth so that you will stay in the palm of their hands like, putty that they can shape. Have you had this experience where you took somebody at first impression and you perceived their authenticity, their engagement, their connection with you as proof that they were somebody you could trust? And did the evidence eventually prove that they weren't? And what have you learned from these experiences? I would love to hear all about how you've navigated dealing with people who are toxic, manipulative, or abusive.